I want to ask you something honest. Okay, like growing up, were you ever the gifted one, the one that who got all figured out, and doing the things that they want and they get it very easily? Like, are you that gifted one? Because like I wasn't from my childhood, and my surrounding childs are talented. Some are toppers, some are so sharp in figuring out things. And from the childhood I have this prompter, you can say that, or mindset that I grew up in. Like, they always tell me that for a long time I genuinely believe that if you are not a talented person, you can't do something great in your life. And this is the prompter belief that my surrounding people gave me in my childhood, and I just carry it in my life right now also. In my life, that I really breaked out and solved it. I just solved that prompter, that belief from my mindset and all of this thing, because from the childhood I just say that thing, or I just think that being a gifted one is very very important thing. You should have some talent in your life. From childhood I just have that belief in my mind that if you are not talented, you can't get anything in your life, or you can't do big things in your life. Like, this is the prompter, this is the belief that my surrounding people gave me in my mindset, that I just really broke it. I just burn it out and I just updated it in my mindset and in my whole being as a person right now. But that belief quietly destroyed a lot of ambition, if some people have like that. And when I read this book, this Hidden Potential by Adam Grant, it talk about some points that is meant to get your attention and change your perception related to your potential. Because this book really changed me, really changed my perspective about a lot of things that I see in my life. That's why I really want to talk about this book, Hidden Potential, because there are also some points, there is some perspective that Adam tell about, that I really love, and I just apply that in my life. I just apply that in my perception, and it really changed things in my life. So why not share it with you all, right? So this is the video that you can literally see if you really want to get a new perspective about potential, your what you can do in your life. If you are not a talented person, or you are not a gifted one, what you can do and how you should alter that perception of of yours. So I didn't have a physical book of this Hidden Potential. I just read it from downloading the PDF from the Google, and I just read in that way from my mobile. So I didn't have a hard copy of it, but I just read it through that PDF. So yeah, Adam in his book tells that the potential is not where you start, it's about how far you can go or you can travel in your life. Today we will gonna discuss about some powerful ideas from his books. Okay, so first I really want to talk about the talent myth. So Adam said that we have been measuring the wrong thing. Most of the worlds, like in our schools, our parents, or if you are in the company, if you are doing the job and all things, they look at where you are right now, and use that to predict where you will gonna end up. This is the same thing that our parents like also do in our life with ourselves. They see our potential in the things that we are right now, where we are right now, but and they judge our future according to that. Our parents also do that thing. It is a very simple thing. If you really gonna see in the in any house, right? So he says the biggest mistake we make is confusing current performance with future potential. And here's a story from book that make a lot sense to me. That there's a chess team in Harlem, mostly kids from under resourced background, no fancy training, no hairstyle, and they just go up against the elite and well funded teams, and by every conventional measure they shouldn't win. But what happened, so there is a coach that trained the kids, and he didn't coach them based on their talent, but he just coached them on their growth, and they won, and not because they were the most gifted one, but because they traveled the furthest, and that is the thing that Grant says, that the world's top performance weren't extraordinary geniuses from birth. They built their skills over time, and using the right through using the right techniques in the right environment. So these kids didn't have a fancy training thing or funded teams. They are just the one that can't win, but they win because the coach didn't coach them on their talent, but they coached them on their growth. They didn't see who's talented or who is the gifted one. They just taught them in the path of the growth, that this is how you have to do things like that, and this is you have to perform in your team, in your sports, things like that. So from this story you can see that the allied group can have subconscious belief or doubts, but the underprivileged group just flow, like they just know that yeah, they have to learn it and then perform it simply, like there is no prompter, there is no belief or doubts they have, they don't have any of this thing. They just learn the thing through their growth, like they just think about that, okay, I have to do this, I know this thing work like this, and I have to do this thing. That's it. They don't have any doubts, they don't have any subconscious beliefs at all, because they know that we have to do this thing very simply. That is the thing, that is the beginner's mind that we say, beginner's luck that we say. So from this story you can see that you don't need talent, you just need to know about your potential, that you can do that. That I always say in my videos, that you have a lot of potential as a human being. You are, and you can, like literally you can do a lot of things that you really want in your life, that you subconsciously sabotage yourself that I can't do, but you can do it. Like you just have the doubt, you just have the fear, and just if you eliminate that fear or doubts, you can just go to the heights. That is the thing, like we confuse ourselves with our current performance with our future potential. We just apply our current limited thinking in our future potential. But if you are in right now, if you are with highest potential, if you have that thinking about your own self, that I have highest potential and I can do the things that I really want, so your future trajectory will gonna be different. If you're in present are different in your mindset, so that is the thing, that you have to work in your potential, not in potential, but work with your potential, because you already have it. You just have to apply that thing in your life, in your work. That's it. So that is our first point, that talent, and like we say that, if they are the topper, they are the person, they are the one who can literally build something good in their life or do something great in their life. But it is the myth, the toppers and all that we say, or our parents tell us that he was a topper, so see in future he will gonna do amazing. And if we didn't get any, and if we are not the topper, and if we are a average person or average student in our school life, parents say that you can't do anything. That is the same thing that happened to every kid, I think. So that is the thing, that you don't have to believe in person around you that is telling you about your potential, because always remind yourself that as a human being, you have highest potential. You have a lot of potential to do anything in your own life. So that is the one point that you should remember, that talent is a myth, or a gifted one, like a person who is a gifted one, is a myth. all human being can do the things. Your actions describe your potential. So that is the thing. So let's talk about our second point. It is character over talent. So okay, so if talent isn't the ingredient, then what is the, like, then what is? So you have questioned this, that if talent didn't matter, then what is that thing that matter a lot? So Grant says that it is character skills. What I mean by character skills, that if you are thinking that it is soft skills, no. Grant draw a clear line between personality and character. He just described both of them in a good way, in a great way. Like, personality is your basic instinct, for how to think, feel, or act, and character is your capacity to prioritize your values over your instinct. So you can know from this quote, from this the thing that I describe you, that both are very different. Your personality and your character is a very different thing. Personality is like your basic instinct for how to think, feel, or act, and you just acting like it. Your personality also get very it just get automated sometime, because we didn't get aware about things, because our basic, like, in everyday life, whatever our basic instinct is telling us, we are just acting on it. If that instinct is coming from some social media or from the person, we didn't care, we just have the instinct and we just act like that, think like that, feel like that, and it just get automated sometime. Your personality get automated sometime. But your character, character is your capacity to prioritize your values over your instinct. In character, you know what you want to do in your life, what your instinct, you have an instinct about some certain thing, but also in that point you know that okay, I have to do this, I have the capacity to perform in that thing, and I will prioritize that in this work that I really want to do in my life. So that is the character skill, that is the character building skill. So personality is what you want to do, and character is what you choose to do. You can see the difference here, that personality is what you want to do and character is what you choose to do. Selecting and saying that I am gonna do this, or we save videos or reel this and I will gonna watch it later, and but we never come back to it. So saying is simple, but choosing every day the things you want to do and giving your deep hours on it is the character building skills. We just say very simply that okay, I really want to do this thing today, and I really take the to-do list of today, and yeah, that's it. But your character is what you are choosing to do. It is not about what you want to do, it is about what you are choosing to do in your life, because everyone will gonna tell you to do this, to do that, but you are the one who can choose that I really want to do this and do that. So that is the character building. And Adam talk about these three character skills to focus on. First is proactivity. So he says that taking initiation before you feel ready, not waiting for permission or perfect conditions. That is the first one, that is proactivity. Second is determination. He says that pushing through the grind without external validation at all. And that is the mistake that we all are doing right now, that we seek the external validation. But I think you didn't need an external validation at all. You can have your own validation coming from your own source as a human being. That is the second thing, is determination. Third one is discipline, showing up consistently even when the result aren't showing up yet. So that is the three things he said about character skills to focus on. And so what are you waiting about? Build your own things that you really want to build. Just start it today. Start it right now. So that is the thing, that you can give your time in character building, so you can also live your intentional life. Like, character building is not a character skills. Character skills is just not about okay, I'm choosing to do this or do that, but here you are the one who are guiding your own self and deciding things for your own self. not deciding things according to parents, according to people around you, or according to social media person, or coming from any influence or anything. So that is the thing that you have to do. You have to build your character skill, so you can use your potential in a way that you really want to do. That is our 2 points from the book that I connected with my own perspective also. Let's talk about our third point, that is embrace discomfort. So in our third point, Grant says that, so in that story, Grant opens with a story about polyglots. So people who speak like 7 languages. So and the question is, what do they have in common? He just see that thing in them, that like what is common in them, like they are speaking 7 languages, means they learned it. So like how they can do that? So it turns out that it's not about memory, it's not some linguistic superpower. The thing they all share is a tolerance, actually a craving for discomfort. Grant reference a study where people taking improve comedy classes were split into two groups. One group was encouraged to focus on learning. Second group is told to intentionally seek discomfort. That is the two stories that I tell you from the book that Grant tell about. In second one, he divided the two groups. So there is a line in a book line in book that says that you don't need to get comfortable before you can practice your skills. Your comfort grows as you practice your skills. Hear it twice. You don't need to get comfortable before you can practice your skills. Your comfort grows as you practice your skills. So you don't have to wait about a right time about things. You don't need to seek the perfection. You just have to act upon thing to get comfortable with it, and then then you will gonna grow in it, right? So he tell from that both story that it is not about memory or anything like that, or they have some superpower, but it is about their tolerance, it is about their discomfort. They are just learned that much of languages. And you can also say that they will have some discomfort in that process, but they grow from it. So that is the thing, that you have to embrace your discomfort. If I'm talking to this video, if I'm talking to the camera in this video, and I am literally embracing my discomfort. I am not very usually used to record videos of mine and just upload in the social media. I am not like that. I am that introvert and shy person. But I am embracing my discomfort, because that is how I will gonna improve my skills. That is how I will gonna improve my language thing. I will gonna improve my communication skill. So it is basically rewired how I think about starting things. This code is very important for me also when I am starting this journey, because that is a really good thing. Like, it basically rewired how I think about starting things. So whenever I start things, I just remember this quote, that embrace the discomfort, that I always tell to my own self. So we think that I need to be perfect to do these things, and all, but you don't have to. He write whole chapter on imperfection. Grant write a whole chapter on imperfection, and I think you should read this book, give it a read, and you will gonna have some awesome insight from that book. So Grant says that the goal isn't a flawless output also. The goal is knowing which imperfection to tolerate and which to refine, because it is not that he's saying that create the output that is flawless. It is not like that, but the goal is knowing which imperfection to tolerate and which to refine. So potential is not a starting point, it's a journey. Your potential is a journey, and journey of being growable. I think that is hidden potential, that every time we have chance to take one step more and grow towards on our journey. So that is our hidden potential that we all human have inside us, but we have to take that first step with our with that knowingness that I have this potential to do this thing. What do you think that what is self-worth? Self-worth is very connected with your potential. Why? Like, and how? So, like, your self-worth, it is like, what is self-worth? It is knowing that you are worth to doing that thing. You just know that thing. You know that, I can do that thing. So that is your self-worth, that you know about something. So it is very connected with your potential, that you also know that you have like infinite potential inside you as a human being, that you can do anything that you really want to do in your life. And that is the thing from where you have to take a step and just remind yourself this thing every day, so you can change your mindset and your program and your patterns. So this is all about this video, and tell me how would you like this video, and what do you think about this book, or did you really read this book previously?